Welcome back to Easy English Classroom. I'm David.
And I'm Alice, and this is week 2. I can't believe we're already here.
Have you ever been in a conversation in English where someone said something you completely disagreed with, but you just nodded and said, "Yeah, totally," anyway? Not because you agreed, but because you didn't know how to push back politely. Today, we fix that. By the end of this episode, you'll have a full toolkit for sharing your real opinions, agreeing warmly, and disagreeing respectfully, all without ever sounding rude. Ready to finally say what you actually think? Week 2, Day 8. You've built a real foundation in Week 1, and now we're going deeper. Today's topic is expressing opinions and agreeing or disagreeing politely in English.
This one feels important. I feel like I always hold back my real opinions when speaking English.
You're not alone, and that's exactly what we're going to work on. Today's goal, 35 spoken sentences plus 5 opinion phrases that will transform how you sound in discussions.
5 phrases that transform how I sound? Okay, I'm very motivated.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's my honest fear. I always agree with people in English, even when I don't actually agree. Not because I'm dishonest, but because I'm scared of sounding rude or aggressive if I say the opposite. So I just nod along and say, yeah, for sure, even when I think they're completely wrong.
That fear is incredibly common among English learners, and it actually makes conversations feel flat and one-sided after a while. Here's what most people don't realize. Polite disagreement in English is not just acceptable, it's actually what makes conversations interesting and real. A conversation where everyone agrees about everything isn't really a conversation at all.
I never thought about it that way. I always assumed disagreeing was risky.
The risk isn't in disagreeing, it's in how you disagree. And English has beautiful, soft phrases that let you push back without any aggression at all. You're not alone in feeling this way, and today we're building your disagreement toolkit from scratch.
A disagreement toolkit. I love that idea.
Let's start building it right now. Let's warm up. I say, I think working from home is better than going to an office. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Good. Honest answer. Let's upgrade it. I completely agree. I feel so much more productive at home, honestly.
I completely agree. I feel so much more productive at home, honestly.
Perfect. Now let's say you actually disagree. How would you say that?
I don't agree.
That works, but let's make it softer. Actually, I see it a little differently. I think I need the structure of an office to stay focused.
Actually, I see it a little differently. I think I need the structure of an office to stay focused.
Excellent. That's a respectful disagreement with a reason. Next, someone shares an opinion you only partly agree with. What do you say?
Maybe yes, but also no.
Very honest. Let's upgrade. That's a fair point, though I think it depends on the situation.
That's a fair point, though I think it depends on the situation.
Beautiful. That phrase acknowledges their point before you add your own. One more. How do you share your own opinion on a topic?
I think that...
Good start. Let's vary it. Personally, I feel that, or from my point of view, these sound more confident and varied than always starting with I think.
Personally, I feel that practice is more important than grammar rules when learning English.
That was a perfect, confident opinion sentence, and a very true one. Let's go deeper. Alice, what's a topic you have a strong opinion about? Something you genuinely feel strongly about?
I feel strongly about... I think social media has more negative effects than positive ones, especially for young people.
That's a clear, confident opinion. And notice how naturally you used I feel strongly about and I think together. That combination sounds very natural and genuine.
I didn't plan that. It just came out that way.
That's authentic speaking. Now, I'm going to push back a little. I actually disagree. I think social media connects people who would otherwise never meet. How do you respond to that?
That's a fair point, and I can see where you're coming from. But I still think the comparison effect, constantly comparing yourself to others online, outweighs the connection benefits.
That was such a mature, balanced disagreement. You acknowledged my point before sharing yours. That's exactly the pattern that makes disagreements feel respectful instead of confrontational.
I used "I can see where you're coming from" naturally there. I've heard that phrase before, but never used it myself.
And now it's in your speaking toolkit. Here's the grammar point behind it. When disagreeing politely in English, the structure is usually acknowledge, but your view. That's a valid point, but personally, I think the acknowledgement softens the disagreement completely.
So the word but does a lot of work in disagreements.
Exactly, but is the polite pivot. Now here's a useful idiom. When you strongly agree with something someone said, you can say, "You've hit the nail on the head." It means they've said something exactly right.
Oh, I love that one. You've hit the nail on the head. It sounds so confident.
It really does. Try using it in a sentence.
When you said practice matters more than perfect grammar, you've hit the nail on the head.
Perfect usage. Now, what's a polite way to end a disagreement when you know you won't change each other's minds?
Maybe just say it's okay to have different opinions?
Exactly right. And we have a perfect phrase for that. I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on this one. It closes the discussion respectfully without anyone losing face.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on this one.
That's one of the most useful phrases in English discussions. Keep it close. Let's practice. First scenario, debating a movie with a friend. I'll be your friend. I thought that movie was absolutely amazing. Honestly, one of the best I've seen this year.
Really? I can see why you'd think that. The visuals were stunning, but personally, I felt the story was a bit slow in the middle.
That's fair. The pacing was definitely not for everyone.
Exactly. Though I completely agree that the ending was brilliant. That part totally won me over.
That was a perfect, balanced response. You disagreed about one part and agreed about another, which is exactly how real movie discussions go.
It felt natural because I was actually thinking about the movie, not just the phrases.
That's the goal. Phrases become invisible when they're automatic. Second scenario, a team discussion at work about a new idea. I'll be your colleague. I think we should launch the new product next month. The sooner the better.
I understand the urgency, and I think the product is great, but from my point of view, rushing the launch might mean missing some important details. Could we maybe push it by 2 weeks?
That's actually a reasonable point. 2 weeks could work. Excellent professional disagreement. You validated the idea before suggesting a change, which is exactly how effective workplace communication works.
I felt confident doing that one because I had the phrases ready.
Preparation really does remove the hesitation. Third scenario, a casual opinion exchange about food. I'll be a friend at lunch. I honestly think cooking at home is always better than eating out.
You've hit the nail on the head when it comes to cost and health, but personally, I think eating out is sometimes about the experience, not just the food.
Okay, that's a fair point. I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on it.
Exactly. Both have their place, honestly.
You used two of today's key phrases perfectly right there. Hit the nail on the head and agree to disagree. Both completely natural.
I think I'm actually enjoying disagreeing in English now.
That's the sign of a confident speaker right there. Time for our shadowing drill. I'll say it, you repeat it. Ready?
Ready.
Personally, I feel that practice beats theory every time.
Personally, I feel that practice beats theory every time.
I completely agree with you on that point.
I completely agree with you on that point.
Actually, I see it a little differently.
Actually, I see it a little differently.
That's a fair point, though I think it depends.
That's a fair point, though I think it depends on the situation.
I can see where you're coming from, but personally, I think.
I can see where you're coming from, but personally, I think.
From my point of view, that might not be the best idea.
From my point of view, that might not be the best idea.
You've hit the nail on the head with that one.
You've hit the nail on the head with that one.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on this.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on this one.
That's a valid point, and I hadn't thought of it that way.
That's a valid point, and I hadn't thought of it that way.
I partly agree, but I think there's another side to this.
I partly agree, but I think there's another side to this.
10 more sentences done. Combined with everything from today, you've spoken well over 35 sentences, and every single one involved expressing or responding to opinions.
I feel like my English has a new layer of depth now. I can actually push back politely.
That's exactly the shift we wanted to create today. Let's lock in today's vocabulary. First word, opinion, a personal view or belief about something. In my opinion, sleep is the best form of rest. Your turn.
In my opinion, kindness is more important than intelligence.
Lovely. Next, disagree, to have a different opinion from someone else. I respectfully disagree with that idea.
I disagree with the idea that grammar is the most important part of learning English.
Very confident. Next, valid, based on sound reasoning, acceptable or justifiable. That's a valid concern.
That's a valid point, and I think we should consider it carefully.
Excellent usage. Next, perspective, a particular way of thinking about something. From my perspective, this approach makes more sense.
From my perspective, working in a team is more effective than working alone.
Perfect. Next, acknowledge, to accept or admit that something is true. I acknowledge that your point has merit.
I acknowledge that working from home has its challenges too.
Very natural. Next, debate, a formal or informal discussion where people share opposing views. We had a friendly debate about the best movie of the year.
My friends and I always have a fun debate about food whenever we meet.
Lovely example. Next, convince, to make someone believe something through reasoning. She convinced me to try the new restaurant.
I couldn't convince my friend that the movie was good, but we laughed about it.
Very real and relatable. Last word, compromise, an agreement where both sides give up something to reach a solution. We reached a compromise and decided to launch the product in 2 weeks instead of 1.
That sentence connects perfectly back to our role play today. Excellent work. Quiz time. Question 1. What's the structure for disagreeing politely in English?
The structure is acknowledging plus but plus your view. You first recognize the other person's point, then share your own opinion.
Excellent recall. Question 2. What does "you've hit the nail on the head" mean?
It means someone has said something exactly right, perfectly describing or identifying a situation.
Perfect. Question 3. What phrase do you use to end a disagreement respectfully when neither person will change their mind?
You say, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on this one.
Word perfect. Question 4. What's a more confident alternative to always saying "I think"?
You can say, personally, I feel that, or from my point of view, or from my perspective. They all sound more varied and confident.
Great range of options. Last question. How do you feel about expressing opinions and disagreeing in English now compared to the start of this episode?
Honestly, I feel so much more empowered. I used to avoid disagreeing at all costs. Now I actually have real, polite, respectful phrases that let me say what I really think. Let's close with 5 tips for expressing opinions and disagreeing confidently in English. Vary your opinion starters, like personally, from my perspective, in my view, so you don't always sound like you're beginning with I think. Always acknowledge the other person's point before disagreeing. It shows respect and makes your pushback sound thoughtful, not aggressive. Use softening words like a little, perhaps, and personally before your disagreement. They lower the emotional temperature of the conversation. Remember that polite disagreement makes conversations richer and more interesting. People actually enjoy talking with someone who has a confident, respectful point of view. When discussions get heated, use I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on this one to close the topic with grace. It's always a respectful exit. Alice, how do you feel now compared to the beginning of today's episode?
At the start, I was genuinely someone who agreed with everything in English just to avoid conflict. But now I feel like I have a real toolkit for sharing my actual opinions and disagreeing in a way that feels respectful and confident at the same time.
That's such a meaningful shift, and it's one that will change how every English conversation feels from here on. Let's recap what we covered today. 1, we warmed up with opinion phrases and upgraded each one. 2, we had a deep conversation about the structure of polite disagreement and the idiom hit the nail on the head. 3, we practiced 3 real-life role plays, a movie debate, a work discussion, and a casual lunch conversation. 4, we shadowed 10 essential opinion sentences. 5, we learned 8 new vocabulary words. And 6, we quizzed ourselves to lock everything in.
Week 2 is off to such a strong start.
It really is, and that's day 8 of 30 complete. If today's episode helped you express your opinions more confidently, please like and subscribe. It helps so many more learners discover this series.
And here's your homework. Today, pick any topic you feel strongly about and share your opinion out loud in English, at least 10 sentences, including one agreement and one polite disagreement.
And leave a comment telling us your opinion on this question. Is it better to learn English alone or with a partner? We genuinely love to read your answers.
Tomorrow is day 9, and we're diving into something everyone needs: how to apologize and handle awkward situations in English.
See you then. Keep speaking, keep shadowing. Your voice deserves to be heard.
Bye, everyone.